Now we go File, Save As, or Save is the only option we've got. So that's not going to work here. We need to go back to our design view and now go File, Save As. And just choose where you want to save it. This will be fine for me, and I want to call it Hoop It All. And I already have one in there, so I'm going to save over the top. Now it tells me that I've already got that. Yes, I know, I'm saving over the top. You won't necessarily get that coming up. Now the next box that comes up is very important. This is multiple hoopings. Your design uses more than one hooping. Would you like to export split files? Your answer here is yes. And what it does is split the design, and if we come down here we can see that it's splitting and optimizing, and when that's done you'll get a new box open, and that shows you your 4 hoopings, starting with the first one being highlighted, and it's showing this is what's going to embroider out first. Then you can go through and have a look at the different areas if you like. Number 3 is this top bit, and number 4 is this last bit down here. Okay, so when you're happy that you've got all your 4 areas, you just go Save All, and when that's finished working you can go Close. Okay. Now the other important thing you need to do is make yourself a template, just so that you can position your first stitch. If you don't get your first stitch in the right place, you could easily go outside the area of the hoop and do some damage to your machine. So obviously if your first stitch is here in the design and you put your needle up here, then the design is going to try and embroider over here, and that won't work. And if you line your first stitch up down here and the first stitch is actually here, you will actually go over the end of the hoop. So just go File, Print Preview, and I have a video on making templates which you can watch if you like on YouTube. But here you have the templates. Now because it's so big it's going to print out in 2 parts, but it does give you little reference marks here to line up so that you can stick this together, and you also get your thread chart here. Now you can just print this out in black and white if you like. It doesn't have to be colour, but it's up to you. Once you've printed that out, I'm just going to close that, and I'll need to move my little logo to get to the close button. You can hoop up your fabric in the Hoop It All as per the manufacturer's instructions, and attach it to your machine with the bracket, and be ready to slide the hoop along in the bracket. Lay your template on top so that it's well within the stitching area of the hoop, and then you need to locate the first stitch. So what you will do is you will load, and I'm just going to open it now, you will load your first Hoop It All design, which is this one. Now you know where the first stitch is because your green circle will be there. So the first stitch in this design is not actually in the center of the design, it's actually at the end of this green leaf. So you need to mark that point on your template. Then move your machine to line up with that mark that you've made on your template at the very first stitch of the design. And then you can begin embroidering. The whole design will embroider out, and then right at the end you'll get a last colour which is actually the reference points. So it's going to embroider a reference point here, a reference point here, and a reference point here, and a reference point here. Now they're in 2 different places, obviously, 4 different places. It needs all these reference points eventually, but maybe not for the second hooping. So I'm just going to open the second hooping to show you what I mean. just scroll down and open. Okay, now the first 2 stitches on this design, this part of the design, are down here, the green. You can see the green circle. These 2 points, reference points, will line up with the 2 of the red reference points on the previous design. Let's just minimize that one for a minute and maximize that one. Okay, so that was hooping number 1, and these are the 2 reference points here that your second hooping will have to line up with, because you can see that these are straight across the hoop like this. So you will just slide your hoop, these will be stitched out, slide your hoop to the first stitch, which is going to be this one over here. If I just minimize that one again and bring it up the other one, so that this, and move the needle to the first stitch of the second design, and this will line up with the red. Slide the hoop till your needle lines up with the red cross from the previous marking. It will then stitch these 2 reference points, so they should line up exactly. It will stitch the rest of the design out, and then it's going to make 2 more reference points, one there and one there, ready for the next hooping. And so you will then open your next design, hoop it all 3, open, and let's find where, here we are, here is the reference point for the first stitch of this design. So that needs to line up with the last stitch, the last reference point on the previous design, or the appropriate reference point on the previous design. Okay, and then you will hoop up your 4th hooping. You won't hoop it up, sorry, you will open your 4th hooping and slide your hoop in your, move your needle to your first stitch and slide your hoop till the reference points line up. Now on this one, these reference points here actually line up with the reference points on the first hooping. Remember there were 4 reference points on the first hooping? It'll become apparent when you're embroidering it out where you need to line the bit of design up to, but you and once you've done that, once you've lined up this with your first stitch, it'll stitch both these reference points. They should line up on top of each other, and then you can stitch the rest of the design. So I hope that's been of help. If you like this video and you want to see more, please rate it. Please comment, because I like comments to be able to know what to make next, which videos to record next. And also please subscribe if you don't want to miss any of these videos. Thank you very much.